Good afternoon, Natasha. Okay, as I said,
Good.
my name is Megan Sylvester, and I am the TUCO Education and Research Officer. And I'm here today to do this interview with you, Natasha Wilson, uh, entitled Calypso, the New York Experience. So
Right,
we are doing this project that is TUCO joined together with WACK from
right.
Trinidad and Tobago here in New York to do this interview with you to just find out a little bit more about what would have led you to come to the United States as a Calypsonian of Trinidadian extract and to just have a sense of your Calypso experience in New York. So I want to start off by asking you, tell us, who is Natasha Wilson?
Well, Natasha Wilson, as everybody know, this little girl who started singing in 1985. Boy, that was so long ago. With Marshall Montano. So, that little girl at that time was eager, excited to join the Calypso genre. Let's put it that way, yeah? And I will never forget Mr. George Martin. He's the person that started me in this whole thing. You know, when I was excited because I used to watch at St. Dominic's RSC school how the girls and they rehearsing for the Junior Calypso Monarch. And Mr. Martin one day see me at the door and he's like, why you don't come after school and try and rehearse? I just started to tell you like how everything
Yes,
began, right?
yes.
And I stand up by the door and I said, okay. So after school, I went and said, okay, Mr. Martin want to see me. So I was excited and I went and he's like, okay, sing this note. I'm like, sing what note? So he's like, no, sing, this. And then I used to listen to the girls and they practicing and stuff. And they was practicing a new song. And I start to follow and I'm like, oh, I could do this thing. So I went home and I'm telling my mother now, I said, Mommy, Mr. Martin tell me he want me to learn a calypso to sing for the Junior Calypso Monarch to test out, She said, yeah, what wrong with you? You know you can't sing one note, Tasha. What wrong with you? You're fooling yourself. That was my mother. So I went to my father now. I said, Daddy, I really want to sing, But Mommy tell me I can't sing a note. He said, Dudu, go and try it out. I said, you know what, we children, I was just listening to what we want to do, we listen to our parents. So I go with my father. When the next day, Mr. Martin, I want to sing. He said, all right, start. And that's how everything started off with Natasha Wilson.
Okay, I like that story. And Natasha, it's very important that you share this kind of information because, as I said, as a TUCO research and education officer, when I go into secondary schools and even go to the NALIS libraries to speak to the general public in Trinidad and Tobago, they really want to know what is the story behind the introduction into the Calypso art form. Because many times what they know is only the recorded song that they hear, and they don't know what or who is behind the artist. And so thank you for sharing that story. And as you share that story now, other than the young girls that you would have seen practicing, is there any Calypsonian, male or female, who you emulated in terms of your stage performance, in terms of who you said, you know what, I want to be like that person? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, at that time, we started at, Masha and myself started at the age of 8. And as I told you with the story, I didn't know I could have sing at that time. And after singing in the Junior Calypso Monarch and winning in 1985 with Recarnation Wish, I got the privilege to meet the Mighty Sparrow at that time, afterwards. And he's like, he's a little giant, And stupid me, I was like, serious? I was just doted because I with the Mighty Sparrow. And Sparrow want to manage me? You're crazy? What? That was a privilege. So he was the person that I look up to. And then I know Calypso Rose, but never hearing my mom and they speaking about Calypso Rose and the Mighty Sparrow and Kitchener. But as that young age, you ain't studying, but to meet him in person, that was it. That is the person I really look up to and appreciate having me worldwide.
Right. Right. And that's an important story as well, because so, a few times we hear about the passing of the baton, as it were, in terms of, one generation saying to the next generation, you're next,
Right.
and this is really good for you to share with us that story. Now, Natasha, of course, you're a female Calypsonian. And when I
Yes.
go to the schools, when I go to the general public, young girls, young women are interested, would you believe, in getting involved in the Calypso fraternity.
Beautiful.
So share a little bit about this path that you took, because what you just said is that there's a male Calypsonian who sort of helped you, but it's interesting for us to understand, how did you feel as a female, a young girl, a young woman in the Calypso fraternity in what is, of course, considered a male-dominated art form?
Well, I thank you for asking that question. In my time, when we first started, and I love to say when we first started, and again, Marshall and myself, right? Sorry, everybody calling me at this time. It was very hard for a female because, as you say, it was all about the male. And the female at that time was Calypso Rose. So they never had a young female, so young, in the Calypso arena. So they used to give me a lot of trouble. It was very, very, very hard. Like, what's she doing? What's she coming? What's she trying to do? This little young girl don't know nothing about Calypso. What they have her here? You know, that type of thing. So with the courage from my family and the persistent from my mother and father, I never stopped. And I showed them, listen, I'm going to make the way for all the Destras, the Patrice, the Nadia Batson, the Faye and Lions, and the list go on and on for the female. Yes, Calypso Rose did it for us, but for a young person in the art form, I did it for them.
What a wonderful testimony that is.
Yes.
I mean, and it's important because what you just mentioned is Calypso and soca. And of course, Calypso is mother music. And when we hear persons in the Calypso arena talk about soca and the impact that Calypso had on soca, it's important that you could also add that not only did you pave the way for Calypsonians, female Calypsonians, but also for the soca artists that came thereafter. And that's really important. Now, Natasha, we want to get to a discussion on your path, not in terms of assistance, but in terms of stages. Were you part of the Junior Calypso Monarch competition? Then did you go on to Calypso Fiesta? And did you go on to the March Gras? Because people want to know.
Of course. Well, that's how you started. You have to creep before you walk, right?
Right.
And I started in the Junior Calypso Monarch, won the title in 1985. After that, I went on with the Mighty Sparrow. He gave me a beautiful song, which was One Day at the time. And everybody had this little girl singing One Day. Made it to the Savannah, which is Calypso Fiesta. Made it to there. Came in 6th, which I didn't care. I made it. So it was a big thing because I was singing with the giants. So to come in 6th, that was an honor. So I want the younger people to think and to know that sometimes in life, it's not all the time you're going to win, but just having the privilege to be with giants and to sing among them and to be among them, it's an honor. So it's not about winning all the time. It's just knowing that you made it there. So when I made it to the Calypso Savannah, Calypso Fiesta at the time, and came in 6th, and then from there went on to which a lot of people might know, and the younger ones might know. In New York, they call it, you have American Idol, but at that time, it was Star Search. And Marshall did it the year before, and then the year after, as the female went on to Los Angeles to represent Trinidad and Tobago in Star Search.
Right.
Yes. I give it a lot. I tell you a lot that the younger ones may not know.
Yes, and that's important. That's important because the industry has changed so much. So it is
Yeah.
important for them to know that even though there's a part within Trinidad and Tobago itself, when you cross waters, there's another
Yeah.
part. All right.
Yes.
And as I introduced that, you now reside in New York.
Yes.
And what we want to really find out, mostly in this interview, is what made you take that decision to leave Trinidad and Tobago, where you had been successful. You know,
Yes.
you were walking with giants as a child. You were exposed to the art form, to stage performance, to, you know,
Right.
crowns, etc. That whole Calypso fraternity. Why would you want to leave and go to the United States?
Well, started, a lot of people was upset with me at the time, but I needed to do me, because at the age of 8, singing, you know, and going on as a teenager and still continue singing, which I will never regret. Love it. But I needed to have my son, and my husband is an American.
Mhm.
So I had to make a decision at the time to come away, you know, be with my husband, get pregnant, be a mommy. Now my son is 19, going to be 20, thinking that he control me. And I needed to find me, because it was like pace. Never had any chill girl days going up a level. Didn't know much about those things.
Right.
It's all I knew was work, 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 work. So there I found my husband, and I needed to come away, and still never stop flying Trinidad and Tobago flag high. Never stopped. Never. So that is why I don't want anybody to get upset with me. But in life, sometimes we have to make a decision, you know, for your family. And people have to respect that. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so tell us a little bit more about your New York experience. So you said you continued to fly that Trini flag high. Tell us a little bit about, you know, because you would have sung this song, Sweet TNT. How did you continue to do that in New York?
Well, it have West Indian all over, and everybody love Sweet TNT. And the one who resigned, the people that resign over here in New York are Trinidadians. And so when they have different shows, that is the first thing they call me, Natasha. We wanted to sing Sweet TNT, and we wanted to sing One Day. I don't care about nothing else. That is what we want, Tasha. So, you know, I just continue doing what I love doing, and flying Trinidad and Tobago flag high over here. But I also come home and sing, you know, but then, you know, it hurtful sometimes, because you're excited. You're doing it here. And then when you go home, you know, sometimes they forget who you are.
Well, this is
And
it. And that's an important part. That's an
Yeah.
important part, because what tends to happen, I have noticed, is that when artists migrate or they stop performing in terms of Calypsonian competitions, what tends to happen is that people think that they are no longer performing. So if they don't see you in the competition, they think, okay, this person is either stop singing Calypso, you know, or they just sometimes, unfortunately, I hate to use this word, but they think you're dead. They think that you have died. And then, you know, if a radio DJ or a station decides to play your music, says, you see how they're dead? They're playing the music for us to remember.
Yeah.
And so
that is so sad.
Exactly. So tell me a little bit about that sort of response that you get, because you know, Calypsonian, well, Lord Nello, he has a song called Foreigner, and that song actually encapsulates the way that the Calypsonian feels when they seemingly become a foreigner in their own land, because persons, in this case, Trinidad and Tobago, forget about them or don't remember them. So tell me a little bit about that experience that you've had.
It's very hurtful, honest to God, because you dedicate so many years in Trinidad. You build yourself in Trinidad. Everybody know you in Trinidad. You come away to do the same thing. You're doing the same thing. But when you come back home, it's like, look, Natasha, it's wonderful to have an icon. Natasha was so welcome back to Trinidad. It's like, okay, but this is what I did, and this is what I've been doing. Oh, yeah? So it's like strange to them, but they don't realize that we never stop. We never stop. And it's hurtful to see, look, they give me a proclamation over here from the senators.
Yeah.
They had a carnival in Far Rockaway.
Yeah.
And they like, the senator was so impressed. He said, Natasha, for the community, you've been doing so much, so many years. And they give me a proclamation for the young entertainer, female entertainer, got a proclamation. And you know who I represent? Trinidad. So it's hard to see when you come back and they watch you like, who you? And you're still flying your flag high.
Right.
You know, so I think that they need to respect us a little more because we haven't, not because we're living in a different country. That don't mean we forget our country. We're working hard to represent our country. So I think it's unfair when we come back home to get that kind of response. And as you say, we get the respect when we did. You'll see we face on a plaque going to San Fernando or Billboard or in loving memory. No, don't wait, because we've been and we still putting in a lot for Trinidad and Tobago, for our culture, and we will not stop. And the Prime Minister and the government need to know, you hear me, that we ain't stopping and we need the respect when we come home.
All right. So we want to now focus on your musical contribution. So we want to go in terms of the order of the songs that you would have that you are best known for. All right. So tell us a little bit about these various songs. Yeah. Which one you want to start with?
Let's start with One Day.
Yes. So let's go ahead.
All right. So One Day was written by the man himself, the Mighty Sparrow. That was my first big song.
Yes.
Yes. So a lot of people thought that the song was too big for me at the time because, of course, I was only, 12? And singing One Day with, but One Day is a beautiful song. One Day could relate to relationships, political wise, anything, but just at that time, a lot of people thought that it was too big for for me. I was too small to handle a song like that, but I proved them wrong.
And tell us a little bit, because of course there are going to be people in the audience, especially some of the younger people who have not been exposed to that, because we know the issue with radio airplay, etc., which is what we're trying to change here. Tell us a little bit about what this song is about.
One Day?
Yes.
Well, Dad wrote this song, as I said, it could relate to any situation. Like if you're in a relationship with your husband or your boyfriend or whatever, you can tell him one day we'll pay, forgive me, all the stress, you'll go pay. It could relate to that. Or political wise, one day, I tell you, one day, we will beat all you, stuff like that. So as I said before, One Day could relate to any situation in your life. It's a very, very strong, powerful song. And I was blessed to sing that. And I will always be grateful to the Mighty Sparrow for believing in me at a young age of 12 and only singing a song that, oh God, it was a little too big for me, but, it is indeed a great song and it can relate to any situation in your life that you're going through.
So,
all right.
So, Sweet TNT.
Our Trinidad and Tobago national anthem, as they call it.
Yes, tell us about that.
Well, Sweet TNT was written by Erlins, the man himself. A matter of fact, before he gave me Sweet TNT, Lovey at the time sang Don't Cry Me a River. So apparently he wanted to give it switch. Don't Cry Me a River, Sweet TNT for Lovey, Don't Cry Me a River for me. But when he heard Lovey, and Lovey had that kind of Don't Cry Me No River, that type of tone, husky, sweet tone, he like, no. Let's give the Sweet TNT to Natasha. So when he gave it to me, now I was like, oh Lord, that kind of high. But everybody's like, but you just sang One Day. One Day is just as high. What are you talking about, But then it ended up being Trinidad and Tobago national anthem. Politically, all the parties, everybody took One Day. gone with it until I get in calls like, Natasha, this is UNC. We want you to sing, on March with no. Natasha, this is PNM. We want it. I live away, and not for no party. Sorry, and not any political thing, but I am honored, guys, and grateful and blessed and thankful to Erilyn and to have such a powerful song, a nation building song, and our Trinidad and Tobago next national anthem. Hey, thank you.
Take it, it's yours. All right.
Yeah.
So tell us about this song, They're Blaming.
Well, clearly you're taking me back in my archives, but they blaming me, mommy blaming me for you. I think Dad wrote that song, because I used to complain a lot. Always blaming me as the last child, and he used to lie down and sit down with us, Sparrow. And I used to complain like, oh God, I was the last one. They want me to do everything. So he came up with the concept. One day he started, da, 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 beep, 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 beep. And I wasn't like, Dad, what are you coming up with? He said, they're blaming you for everything. So I'm like, yeah. He said, okay, that's the next song. They're blaming me. Bam, and he used to say, that is thing with his hands and beep, boom, beep, 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 that type of way.
Yes.
So that is how the blaming me came up. Yeah.
All
because
right.
they like to blame me as the last child for everything.
All right. Unite Caribbean People. Tell us about that.
Unite Caribbean People was going up for the Calypso Queen of the World competition in Dominica. The two ladies beside myself had to represent Trinidad and Tobago was Bianca Hall at the time and Denise Plummer. Denise Plummer was the reigning Calypso Queen in Trinidad. And I think I came in, second to her at the time. Not sure. They take me back in my archives, boy. They making me think. So when Unite Caribbean People, I needed a song called Unite Caribbean People. We wanted everybody in the Caribbean to start uniting. Because yes, I'm a Trinidadian. Yes, I'm a Bajan. Yes, I'm a Vincentian. But we all Caribbean people. You understand? And that is how that song came up, Unite Caribbean People. So I went to Dominica with that song and won the crown. Again, we brought it home, Trinidad and Tobago. So I guess we unite after that.
Thank you so much, for letting us know, because I think that, when an artist has signature songs, sometimes those are the songs that people know the most. Those are the songs that can be found on social media, YouTube, and other spaces. And so it's important for you to talk about them, talk about the experience so that people can definitely see, you know what, I heard that Natasha said in an interview that she sang this. I'm gonna look for the song, and that is how we get people, more involved in the whole listening to Calypso and getting acquainted with it. So,
thank you.
Right. So moving on now production is this venture of yours.
That's my baby.
So tell us
That's my baby. And how Now Production is really my name, Natasha Onika Wilson spells out now. And it's so girlfriend, I love things done now. I don't like to wait. So when I came up with the idea, I sat down one day in my living room and I said, now Natasha Onika Wilson production. So let me go to Dad. So I went to Dad, which everyone knows Sparrow. So I said, Dad, I want to start my own company. I want to help young upcoming artists in the art form who need a chance, like how you give me that chance and that break. And I want to do it. I'm eager, it's in my guts to do it. And it have a lot of young, talented people out there want to sing, never had, the chance, So I said, I want the same way that you give me that chance in life to make me fly my wings high. I want to do the same thing for someone else. So I formed Now. I said, what do you think? He said, yes, baby. Now production sounds very good. I said, okay, good. And I started with a team, a staff. And I say, guys, this is what I want to come up with. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. I tell everybody their role. And I start to recruit young singers. I had an audition at the time for young singers. And I had recruited at the time Jelani McCoy and Natalia Sobers. Nathaniel now don't sing Calypso or soca. He's more of an R&B. So if you hear this little boy, he sounds just like Michael Jackson, the younger version. Jelani now, excuse me, had no idea. He saw audition and he just come. He wanted that chance again. Not a great singer. He's not a great singer, but Jelani is a fantastic performer. So I said, okay, I'll work because again, I believe, Megan, everybody need a chance in life.
Right.
Then I went to, I had a show coming up and I went to this band launch, band rehearsal.
Right.
Saw this young lady called Camille King, which we name her over as Millie K. And I'm like, this girl could really sing. She realized she have a voice. But she watching me and she was so fantastic, memorized, like, oh my God, Natasha Wilson. But she's looking at me as Natasha Wilson. I'm looking at her as you are going to be one of my next artists with Now Production. Mm-hmm. So after I rehearsed and she was like, oh my God, can I have your autograph? And blah, blah. I said, can I talk to you a minute before all this drama? I said, you know how powerful you are? And she's like, me? No, not me, Natasha. You crazy? I said, yes, you are beautiful. You are powerful. You could sing and I need you part of Now. She said, okay, thanks to the experience. Came aboard, sign her. Millie K have like 5 songs underneath my label. She's also on YouTube. She's going fantastic. Then I came on to Trista. Trista doing his little construction work, came up in our studio, just vibing. He is more of a conscious, he like this Zesta kind of thing. I don't like it, but his voice is amazing. And we take these singers and we train them, right? Ones who couldn't sing, could sing. Who couldn't perform, performing. Millie K is fantastic. She's the same with Request Band over here. Now she's doing her own thing. Her confidence is amazing. When I put them on interviews, I am the proud mama, could sit back and I am feeling so proud. Brent Toussaint, is my producer and he's also their producer and my VP of my company. So when I look back, Megan, I feel so proud to see, yes, I'm in the business long years, but I'm also young. Because, I'm not no old fogey, as they call it. I'm also young. And to see that I could sit back, relax, and put them in competition, I could put my singers anywhere and feel very confident. And I know and proud to know that they came from under Now Production. This is what Now Production is all about, to help young and upcoming artists. It have a lot of them out there, and I'm pleading to all the singers out there, like The Voice, Marshall, Bungie, Fayan, Patrice. Help these younger ones. As they say, the old saying is, yes, we eating, but they have to eat too, if you understand. So I just, mesmerized with Now. I'm trying to fix my camera, to come out the sun a little bit. Guys, sorry. Yeah, and to help them because, again, we go Now Production. Due to the pandemic, we had to hold off a whole year that killed us. But yes, we have new songs coming out. I too gonna release something pretty soon, and I'm going to start recruiting more singers. So if you guys are interested in forming Now Production, you guys could reach me at my email. Let me tell everybody, Natasha OWJ@gmail.com. Email me some of your songs, and let me listen, Brent and myself and the whole crew. And we're going to leave a contact number, which we could contact you. I'm all social media on Facebook, Natasha Wilson-jean. underneath Now Production. You could reach us on Now Production underneath Facebook and Instagram. We also on Twitter. We are all on all the platforms, social media. So if you guys are interested in forming Now Production, give me a call. Email me. Again, natashaowj@gmail.com.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because, you know, as I said earlier in the interview, when I go to the secondary schools and even when I meet, you know, because if the competition age, let's say it's 16, before persons can really get into the adult competition, there may be these 2 years. Or I might find people who are in their 20s. You know, we would have found that Elon Francis would have been in his 20s when he won the crown, and then you had Ronaldo London. So we have 20-year-olds winning the Calypso competition. And young people need to know, listen, this is my opportunity, or this is an opportunity that I can take up. And so it becomes important, Natasha. I'm so glad that you were able to share that information with the audience so that people hearing can see not only that Natasha Wilson is, but Natasha Wilson is also taking the art form to the next level and incorporating other people. I think that is so important when we confront conversations like, is Calypso dead? It's not going anywhere because there's no new blood. And sometimes it's good for people to see that it is not only the new blood coming out of the Junior Calypso competition in Trinidad and Tobago, but there are other spaces where we can help young and upcoming talent. So Natasha, thank you. But before we end, I want to find out if there's anything else you want to share with the audience today that we didn't.
Well, I would like to say to the young and upcoming artists and singers or young children who may not know me, and you want to, it don't have to be singing, you know, it could be anything that you want to do. Always put your mind to it, love it, and just focus and do it. Don't care what people say. They may try to damn your spirit, but keep confident within yourself. Family is a big thing, you understand? And I had a lot of family support. And sometimes you may not have that. You may have a friend who is there more than your family, you know. Believe in yourself. Believe in what you want to do, and just do it. Okay? Don't stop. Don't care what people say. As long as it's constructive, let me say it correctly, as long as it's constructive and to help you, help your life, do it. And keep pressing forward. And with all that you do, remember, God is first than anything else after.
All righty. So thank you very much, Natasha.
You're welcome.
I think our audience will really, really love this interview. It's been a treat interviewing you, and I really thank you for taking the time to spend with us, you know, to really encourage the Calypso art form, you know.
Thank you so much.
In TUCO, we say, by Calypso, our stories are told, and you are definitely telling the Calypso story and beyond. So you're very welcome. You're very, very welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Love you, TUCO. Love you. Been with you guys forever.
Right.
And still with all you. Don't mind all you forget me sometimes. I'm just joking.